Hello, this is Wanda. This is Diaspora Connect. Greetings and welcome to the channel. Welcome to all of my faithful subscribers. I want to say welcome back. And to my new subscribers, I want to say welcome in the room. So today, I want to do a video. And as you notice, I have new glasses. I have another pair. So I have two new pair of glasses and they're very sturdy. As you can see how thick these frames are. I chose these frames because they are very thick and I just have a habit of dropping my glasses too much and breaking them. I've gone through so many pairs of glasses, but the last two pairs that I got are thick and sturdy frames. So these should last me for some years, literally. And I have two pair. The other ones are the leopard print looking ones, and then I have these. So, and yes, I do like big frames because my face is like this big, my head is like this big, so I like the bigger frames because it just makes my head look bigger or something. So anyway, yes, I like big frames, but don't get distracted by the frames. I'm going to take them off in a second, but I just wanted to initially start the video and show you my frames. So yeah, so I can see clearly. Like I really like these because I can see the whole, no obstruction, everything is clear. Yes, they are big. Yes, they are. And even my sunglasses family, I have sunglasses, or some people call them shades. They're just as big as these. I like really big frames. So yeah, I don't know why. Just like how they look on me. So, but anyway, I wanted to do a video today. And I wanted to talk about something that is important to us to realize, understand. When I say us, I mean black people, black Americans specifically. Is for us to understand. And this channel is it's all about me and my life. It started out with my journey leaving the U.S. back in. Actually, it started out with my journeys traveling the continent, because if you go way back before I even came here 5 years ago, I started the channel with videos when I went to Ghana. And so I visited Ghana, and that's my first visit on the continent. And I did the whole slave dungeon, slave tour, slave castle, all that stuff. And I was not really a YouTuber at the time, but I just took a lot of pictures and videos, and I was trying to figure out, they were all on my phone, and I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do with these? They're taking up too much space in my phone. So that's when I created a YouTube channel to just dump the pictures on there, kind of like a diary. That's what I was kind of doing, like a a diary or a photo album type situation, just to keep track of all the videos and pictures that I had taken when I went to Africa, Ghana for the first time, visited the motherland to Ghana for the first time. So that's kind of when I started the channel. And then after that, Tanzania is next. And then with Tanzania, of course, I left the U.S. back in 2020, July, and excuse me, and I've been here in Tanzania for 5 years this month, in July 2025. So yes. So it was mainly about my life in Tanzania, how it is, all that, but it's so many people already online, so many videos I've done about my life, and now living here, and as my life is moving on, I'm just doing videos to share my perspective now. I'm doing business here, and everything about me is on this channel. So it's kind of geared towards consultations / my life in Africa / advice that I give / business that I do here / my views, perspectives, and opinions on what is actually going on in America and how it affects us as black people, Hebrew people, Israelite, children of Israel. That's what I consider us to be. That's what the Bible says we are. So, and that's my foundation, the Bible. So I go from a biblical perspective. Like, I don't go by the ancestor stuff. I don't go by the indigenous stuff. I don't do all that. I know who I am. As I've said before, I'm a descendant of the transatlantic slave trade. My ancestors were stolen from Africa over 500 years ago. Whether they were called Africans or not, they were on the continent of Africa. Whether they ran from Israel or not, whether they ran from the Middle East or not, they were in Africa. And so they blended with the Africans. So they lived amongst people that they look like. So I say Africans, okay? African descendants. And so we were dispersed out the four corners of the earth. This was a punishment. This was a judgment, which is why we got dispersed to begin with, which is why we were stolen. I say stolen. People keep asking me why I keep saying that we were stolen from Africa, because the reason I say stolen is because now that I have a clear understanding of what actually happened to our ancestors, they were trafficked, basically. They were stolen from their land. So living in Africa, when our ancestors were living in Africa, they were free. Nobody owned them. So you cannot sell something that you do not own. If you don't own it, and nobody owns human beings, right? Nobody owns human beings. Only our Creator owns us. So if someone sells a human being from where they were living, in that the human being was not in agreement with it, the human being did not want to go, the human being was trying to fight to not be taken away, that is not selling someone. That is kidnapping. That is trafficking someone. You're taking a human being against their will to another country without their approval, without their permission, without their agreement, and you're forcing them to go. And then when we did arrive in America, then we were sold. The reason we were sold when we got to America is because America is not our land. We were taken out of the continent. Wherever we were living in the continent, we were taken away from the continent, which was our home at the time, our ancestors' home at the time. So when they were taken to America or the Caribbean or Brazil, wherever they were dispersed to, you see all the different, where all the slave ships went. At that point, they were the property of the people who brought them to that land, who were living in that land. So example, the white people took us to America, our ancestors. So at that point, we became slaves for them because we were stolen already. We were in their land. That's their land. They control everything. So yes, they enslaved us. So that's the difference when we talk about our ancestors were stolen. They initially were sold. Once they got to America, they were sold. But on the continent, they were trafficked. They were stolen because they were taken against their will. They were tricked. They were coerced against their will. So that's not selling someone. When you don't own someone, you can't sell someone, which they actually did do that in America, because at that point we were in their land. They made the laws. They run the land. That's America is Mzungu land. It's a European country, even though a lot of people don't think so. It's a European country because they set the laws. They set the Constitution. They set the Bill of Rights. Like, they control everything. Even today, they control everything. So when we were taken there, we were enslaved, and they wrote in the Constitution that we were considered 1/3 human. So at that point, they were selling us because they owned us. They wrote us in the Constitution as property that you can sell, like cattle, like herds, like houses, like cars, property. That's what they wrote that in the Constitution. So it's all in there. So that's why I say we were stolen and we were trafficked. We weren't sold from Africa. We were stolen because we were free people. So you can't sell somebody that you don't own. You have to steal them, right? Okay, now that's clear. Now, what I want to talk about in this video is I got notes here on my phone. That's what I'm looking at. But I wanted to talk about the American dream, right? The American dream. The American dream was never supposed to be a dream for the descendants of slaves. It was never supposed to be a dream for the descendants of slaves. That's why it's always been most difficult for us as Black Americans to be happy, to thrive, to have things. It's like everything that we have in America, we have to fight for it. Nothing that we have was given to us like freely and willingly. From our rights to everything we have. Everything has always been controlled to keep us from being able to benefit from it. So when that American dream was put into place, it wasn't supposed to be for the black descendants of slaves, the black Americans. It wasn't supposed to be for us. It was supposed to be for everybody else. And it started out, of course, it was supposed to be for white people and white immigrants. And then they started bringing in other nations of people, the Asians and the Latinos and the Africans. So this is why everybody in America is put over us. Whenever they come to the United States, they get benefits, they get food stamps, money to eat, they get vouchers to live, they get a roof, they get everything, just like they did the white Afrikaners when they brought them to the U.S. They kind of quiet now, but they hide now. But we still got eyes watching y'all. We still got eyes watching them. But that's why everybody always gets put over us. I used to see Chinese come to America, and they open restaurants in our communities, Chinese restaurants in our communities, and everybody that worked in there was Chinese. Nobody knew English. And I was trying to figure out, how are they getting like benefits, and how are they getting, because people saying they get business loans, so they can open businesses, they get like food stamps, they get housing vouchers, they get everything. And I just couldn't understand, how are they getting all these benefits and they can't speak English? It just was blowing me away. But now I totally understand why people were able to come and benefit and pursue the American dream, which is why everybody is always trying to go to America to live the American dream, which it can be realized for them. With us, it's a struggle, it's a fight. A lot of us, everything we have to work tooth and nail for it. It's like nothing has been given to us. And then when we do have things, we always have to fight to keep it, whether it's a job, whether it's a business. There's always groups of people that's trying to fight us for what we have. And these are white people, basically. They always try to fight us for what we have. They're always jealous of everything we have, because they still have that mindset to where they think they're better than us. They think they're more superior than us. So they think that we shouldn't have anything. We should still be like slaves. They feel like that, and they want it to go back that way. So, like I said, the American dream was never supposed to include the black Americans. I wrote a few notes. I was saying it was never meant for us to thrive in peace and be happy. It was basically, America was like a prison sentence for us. It's like when you get sentenced for a crime and then they send you to prison. America was a prison sentence for us. And when I say that, I'm saying that it was a prison sentence from our Maker for sin, for idolatry. And this was for our ancestors. It wasn't because of something that we did per se. It was our ancestors was wicked. Our ancestors sinned. This is another reason why I wouldn't anyway, but this is another reason why I don't see the ancestors like a lot of people see them, is because our ancestors were very wicked. They were very wicked, and they worship idols. They always created some type of idol, a dead, dumb idol. When I say a dead, dumb idol, I mean like the ones that's the statue. A statue is a dead, dumb idol. It's not alive. It's stone. It's made of wood, stone. It's made of man-made stuff. That's a dumb, dead idol. The idol can't do nothing for you, right? Just like the idols in Egypt. They were dead, dumb idols. They weren't like our Elohim, the one who created heaven and earth. And he showed himself strong on our behalf. And he's doing that. And when I say our, I mean the children of Israel, because we are also descendants of the children of Israel. He's also doing that now in America. He's showing himself strong on his children's behalf, on his people's behalf. So, against the wicked. And he's also doing the same thing that he did in Egypt with Pharaoh, because he's telling Pharaoh, let my people go. So basically, America is Pharaoh. America and the government is Pharaoh. And it's like he's going to He's going to rain plagues and natural disaster, everything on them, just like in Egypt, until they let his people go. And his people are the slaves, the descendants of slaves, or the ones who were stolen during the transatlantic slave trade. Or it could be other tribes as well. There are indigenous, the Indian people, the indigenous people that were there before Christopher Columbus. Those are the children of God, the Most High too. They are his children too. Some of them are acting very hateful, so they need to correct that. Because if you are wicked in any kind of way, you're not going to be saved. You're not going to be protected. You're not going to be like brought out of a bad situation. If you are being evil, hateful, wicked, you're on the wicked side. So when the death angel comes, you know how like in Egypt, when the death angel came, its purpose is to take lives, to kill. So if you are wicked, you're not going to be covered. You're not going to be covered by the protection of the Father. So you're going to be vulnerable. So you need to work on your hate for anybody. You know, some people might think that I have a hate for white people because I talk about them, but I don't hate them. I just know who they are. I just know that they're going to have divine judgment because of the sins that they have committed against my people. It's not that I hate them. I don't trust them. I can say that. I don't trust none of them, but I don't hate them. I just know when I'm speaking of them, I'm speaking truth. All the things I'm saying, it's in the Bible. You do reap what you sow. You can't think that you can enslave a whole nation of people. And yes, the Father allowed you to do it because we were on punishment. We were under a curse because of our wickedness, our ancestors, right? When I say our ancestors, because it's your bloodline. And when your bloodline is under curse, sometimes it's hard to break it unless the Father breaks it. If the Father does not break the curse that's on your bloodline, then it will come down to you and your kids and down, so forth and so on. You just have to know that you're under a curse. What happened? Ask the Father to forgive your ancestors. So you still, when you pray and you repent for your sins, you have to ask the Father to forgive you for your ancestors too, the wickedness that they did. So their sins won't come down on you. And actually, this is the same thing that white people need to do right now. They need to be on their knees, repenting, asking the Father to forgive their ancestors for the wickedness that they did against his children. And, you know, so the curses can break off of them. We have to do the same thing. So it's not just them. It's just we had our chance. Africa had their chance. Africa was under a curse as well for punishment, because a lot of the children of Israel are in Africa. The 10 tribes are in Africa. There are 12 tribes. The 12 tribes were dispersed. The other 2 tribes were dispersed, but all 10 stayed in Africa on the continent. So therefore, only the Father knows who his people are. You may not know. You looking at people saying, oh, this person looked like this person looked like that. They not our brother and sister. They not. You don't know. Only the Father knows. We have an idea of the DNA and the features of those who will be part of the 12 tribes. Most of the 12 tribes, actually all of the 12 tribes are Negroes, you know, is what I think. That not that they haven't been mixed with like Hamites, you know, like Moses' wife was Egyptian. So they do mix and everything like that, but there are a lot on the continent. And there are a lot who left the continent to go to these different countries. So that's why I was saying in my last video, just kind of be very careful how you treat immigrants. Be careful how you treat the stranger, that the Bible calls them the stranger. When you have foreigners coming to live in your land, the scriptures calls them strangers. So you have to be mindful. And especially because a lot of them are part of the 12 tribes. They may not know it. They may be asleep. There are a lot of continental Africans that don't know they're part of the 12 tribes of Israel. They think it's the white people in the Middle East. It's not them. It's you. Especially if you suffer the curses. A way that you'll know if you're part of the 12 tribes of Israel is if the curses of Deuteronomy applies to you. The curses of Deuteronomy apply to us, the slaves that were stolen from Africa and taken to America. Everything that happened to our ancestors is written in the Bible under the curses. Your enemy, you will be in a land serving your enemies. You will have a cruel and a cruel taskmaster over you that would not care about the elderly, the children. All these things are spoken of in the Bible. He would put a yoke around your neck, and he would destroy you until you are no more. He would basically unalive you. So all of this is written in the Bible. Go to Deuteronomy 28 and read all the curses. If those curses apply to you, then you are part of the 12 tribes of Israel. If you were enslaved, if your ancestors were enslaved, if you were dispersed out of your country, if your country is downtrodden and you live in poverty and you're the lowest and everybody speaks the low, because the children of Israel will be the lowest in the world. They would be the poorest. They would be the worst treated. They would be the most genocided as a nation of people. So those are the children of Israel, because they were under a curse from the ancestors. So I'm not an ancestor person. I acknowledge that my ancestors were dispersed and that I am descendants from them, but they did a lot of wicked stuff. And so you don't want to go down the line and still follow them when they did wickedly and start doing what they did, and then you end up being in a bad situation. You won't be protected if you are following wickedness, worshiping idols, worshiping the creation rather than the creator. What's the purpose of worshiping the universe and ancestors and dead, dumb idols that like a statue? They're dead. They're dumb. These things are created by the Father. The Father created everything. So why are you worshiping the creation instead of the creator is my question. And for you to think I would do it is ludicrous. Yeah, it's no way in the world. No way in the world. I'm worshiping ancestors. I'm worshiping dead, dumb idols. I'm worshiping, what else people be worshiping? Oh, the universe, the sun, moon, and stars. I'm not worshiping the creation. I worship the creator, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that's basically what I wanted to say in terms of the American dream. That American dream was never supposed to be for us as Black Americans, the descendants of slaves. It was never meant for us to benefit from, which is why a lot of times we don't, which is why it's a struggle for us. We've always been at the bottom. Everybody else can come in and be put over us. We are angry. I get it. We are hurt. We've been mistreated. We've been abused and the like. But we have to make sure that we take that frustration and that hurt and that hate and we channel it in the right way. You know, we look within and say, our ancestors did wickedly, so we had to suffer like this. We are in this low state because of our ancestors. It's not because of immigrants. Immigrants just came to benefit from the American dream. And a lot of them did, because everybody's put over us. Some of us have benefited. A lot of us have benefited, but a lot of us have struggled all our lives. A lot of our people are in prison, are in jail, lied on. A lot of our people been unalive, hung from trees. It's just been devastating for some of our people. So I understand the frustration, but it's easy for you to be frustrated and take it out on immigrants. You know, immigrants are strangers that we should be kind to. We shouldn't, even if what they got going on, that's between them and the Father. If they talking grimy about us, if they doing A, B, C, and D against us, that's between them and the Father. You know, he will deal with all unrighteousness. He will deal with all wickedness. He will deal, because everybody reaps what they sow. Nobody's getting away with it. The same ones that are online running their mouth against Black Americans, they got something coming. And the same thing with us. We're running our mouth, being wicked, talking about, you know, you don't do railing for railing. You don't do that. If someone does something to you, you say what you got to say, and it's done. Essence Fest, for example, you know, everybody was upset about the Essence Fest and all this stuff. Okay, it was done, right? It happened. Now we know what's going on. People know, okay, we're going to boycott Essence, whatever the case may be. Cool. Let's move on, family. How long we going to harp on that? We're going to harp on that. We're going to harp on that. Harp on it. Talk about it. How long? How long? How long? When can you move forward from your hurt? When can you move forward from the wrongdoing? Some people may not apologize. You got to be okay with people not apologizing to you when they do you dirty. They may not come back and apologize. People got too much pride. Sometimes your mama don't even want to apologize. Your children, your husband, your wife, your neighbor, they do you dirty. They don't want to apologize. So why you expect other people outside of your nation to apologize, or from another nation to apologize? So if they don't apologize, it's fine. You got a purpose for being here. The Creator has a purpose and plan for you in your life. You're supposed to be getting yourself in a position where you can survive this drama and trauma that's going on in the U.S., or come out and do like I did and figure out how you're going to make it for you and your family, for your kids, whatever. It's bigger things that you can be focusing on than hating on other people. It's futile. It's not, nothing can come out of it. You're just spewing out hate. It's a spirit. The more you do it, the angrier you get. You're meditating on wickedness. So, okay, it's done. Okay, I've had some people say, oh, this person and this person, not just pointing fingers at other people, right? I'm not talking about other people, family. I'm talking about my people, my nation, Black America. That's who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Africans. I'm talking about us. We should know better. We should know better. As much as we had to turn the other cheek against white people, we've had to do that. And I know it's frustrating. I know it could do something to you, but that's part of healing. We got to be healed. That's why I keep saying healing is important. You cannot heal in America. You can't, because there's too much trauma and drama going on every day. You got floods, you got earthquakes, you got this, you got that. They poisoning your food, they keep you in a whirlwind like this, so you can't sit down and think and have peace to focus on healing within. A lot of us are broken. We need to heal within. We got hurts. We've been mistreated. We've been talked about, low rated. Oh, you ain't nothing. I'm better than you. You're an animal. Go back to Africa. This and that. Notice they're not saying that no more. That's another thing. You notice the white people ain't telling us to go back to Africa no more. And they're not saying that no more. So that's another sign. It's like so many signs to show you that you are connected to the continent of Africa, whether you think you're Aborigine or not. Even the Aboriginal people came off the continent, even before they got to America. America is fairly new. It's new. Nobody was created in America. People came to America. So that's not nobody's land. It's an immigrant land. It's an immigrant land. Even if it was Aboriginals there first that got wiped out from smallpox. That's why I don't understand why all these black people think they Indians. You got black people thinking that they more Indians than during the transatlantic slave trade, when half of them, most of the Indians were decimated from the smallpox, and then the few that were left, they were put on a reservation. So you don't live on no reservation. You live with the rest of us. The real Indians live on a reservation. So it's this madness. It's brainwashing, mind control, and it's madness. It is. And I am grateful that I know the Bible, that I follow the scriptures, because the truth is in the Bible. People think it's a white man's book and they don't listen to it, and they rather worship a dead, dumb idol, or they rather worship an ancestor. And I said this before, ancestors, when you hear from ancestors and you think they're doing something, they're dead. The scripture says for a man to die once and then the judgment. Your ancestors died. They're either in heaven right now or in hell, one or two places. So these things that you keep saying, ancestors, no, those are demons or angels. It's either a demon or it's either an angel. When you see these natural disasters or flooding and all this, it's not an ancestor. It's either a demon or an angel. At this point, it's the angel of the Most High, because this is divine judgment. So, I just wanted to do this video and let you know the American dream was never meant to be a dream for you black people. Never meant to be a dream for you. They knew that. It was never, you were a slave when they created the Constitution. You were 2/3 human. And then they had to write you in the 14th Amendment to give you citizenship, because you weren't initially considered when it came to citizenship. They had to write you in. So, America was never meant for you to live the American dream. And now you really ain't going to be able to live it. You're not going to. So I don't care how much you think you're going to fight the government to get the group of black people going to fight the government to get the country back and this and that. How in the world do you think you're going to do that? You doing all this for reparations, and then what? You get reparations, and you're going to stay there in a country that's going to be decimated? Like, think logically. You're not thinking clearly. You got these guys you follow online, these I call them deceivers. They got your mind confused, got you thinking one thing that's not true, and got you not looking to the future to see the road that America is going down. What you gonna possibly do there if you stay there? It's going to be decimated. The money is going to be not valuable, and then China and Russia gonna come and they're gonna take over. So what you FBAs think y'all gonna be doing on a country that China and Russia is running? They're gonna take people back to their country to be slaves, just like what happened to us, and Russia's gonna run America. It's gonna be a Russian colony. So FBAs, you're not gonna have nothing. You're not going to have nothing over there. Like, please, wake up. Anyway, want to do this video and talk about the American dream was never meant to be a dream for you black people, you African Americans, you FBAs, you ADOS, you Hebrews, you Israelites. I'm talking to everybody. It wasn't meant for you to be free. You were never free in America, and you're still not free. You just don't have the chains to show that you're not enslaved. You don't have the chains showing, but you're still enslaved. There have been people that came to my comment section saying, "Be careful what you're speaking," and why you have a job and this and that. One woman, I think Martinez, I don't know, maybe I don't know, an immigrant, whatever. She was like, it was a Martinez, somebody talking about, remember you got a job, and so I'm being threatened because I'm speaking truth. But I did have to let them know, I don't know if you looked through my videos, but I'm not in America. I'm in Africa. And I don't plan on ever living in America if I ever even go back. Yeah, I don't plan on it. That's not my plan. I'm hoping, once the Father brought me out, I'm not Lot's wife. I'm not Lot's wife. Well, I'm going to turn back and turn into a pillar of salt. Yeah, I'm out. If I live somewhere else, it's going to be on the continent in another African country. Never going back. So I am free to speak truth. I'm free to speak truth. I'm in the motherland. The earth protects me, like in Revelation, the woman that was pregnant, and the dragon was spitting water at her, and the earth saved her, protected her. That's what's going on. The earth, the motherland, is protecting her children. So the enemies of the children of the Father are coming back home to be protected from the enemies without. And the enemies without Africa, they are here, but they know how to act here too. And they can get got here too. So the Africans have control on the continent. Yeah, they have some systems that, have some issues, but they run everything. I feel much safer on the continent than I have ever felt in my life. I feel much safer on the continent of Africa around Africans than I've ever felt living around white people. I never felt comfortable living around all white people, ever. So, Mother Africa is protecting her children. So, of course you got to use wisdom. Of course you want to pick a country that has peace. You don't want to go to a war-torn country. You got Congo got things going on. Libya got things going on. South Sudan. Different places got things going on. You want to make sure you use wisdom in where you go. And as you can see, a lot of us are going to certain places that we know is safe. We got Kenya. You got Tanzania. You got Uganda. You got Rwanda. You got Zambia. You got South Africa. You got Mauritius. You got Botswana, Namibia. It's so many places that you can pick from on the continent. Some people are at Egypt, but I don't know. That's too Middle East for me. But even if not Africa, people going to Asia. I'm not an Asia person because I want to be around people that look like me. But people in Thailand and Vietnam and this place and that place, I would be leery of being in an Asian country because they don't worship my God. They don't worship my Elohim. And so I may not be protected in those places if a natural disaster happens. When they have flooding and they have massive stuff going on, just like in the States, the Most High can protect his people. And he can also protect his people even in those countries. But those countries, for the most part, they have that Buddha. They have the dead, dumb idol. So that's who they worship. I don't want to be in no country that worships a dead, dumb idol, like a statue. I don't want to be in no countries like that. I want to be somewhere where people worship our Creator, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And yes, some people might be deceived and, asleep and all that, different levels, right? But for the most part, worship our Elohim. And they read the Bible. They subscribe to the biblical scriptures. Those countries will be probably the safest to be in, because the Father has a protection around certain countries when they worship him, when that country as a whole worships the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that's where I am. Grateful to be here in Tanzania. Beautiful country. Not perfect, but it's been working for me. All is well. So thank you. Just want to do this video and talk to you and say the American dream has never been a dream for us. Actually, it's been a nightmare. Sometimes you don't realize it's a nightmare until you come out of her. If you live there and that's all you know, you're going to defend it and say this, oh, America is this. But now it's under divine judgment, and it's not going to be as it was in the past. It was great at one point, but it's not no more. It's going down. And it's like the curses are reversing. Africa is rising up, America is going down. Or the Western countries, they going down, Africa is rising up as a whole. So the resources, the Africans on the continent are realizing that their resources sustain everybody. Everybody wants their resources. They have everything here. If all the continental Africans and all the countries on the continent got together and just worked with each other, they would be fine. They got all the food, they got all the equipment, they got all the materials, the resources and the tangibles. They got everything here on the continent. They don't even need outside countries for nothing. But yet the outside countries know they need them. So you're going to have Russia and China and Arabia, all these different places. They're going to come to Africa for the resources, right? So yeah, I'm in the best place. And I've been saying that Africa is going to be the safest place on earth. Certain countries now. Use wisdom now. Come on now. You don't want to go somewhere that's war-torn, right? War-torn. So thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thumbs up. Hit on the notification bell so you can be notified. So whenever I do a new video or live, you'll be notified. And I'm about to lose the sun, so I'm going to end this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video or the next live. I'm going to say shalom, salama, peace. See you guys in the next video.